Dzień dobry, witajcie. Tym razem spotykamy się w regionie Beaujolais. Jest z nami postać, która w to miejsce trafiła z pobliskiej Burgundii, ale od razu zawojowała świat winiarski regionu Beaujolais i ustawiła nowe standardy, można powiedzieć, dla jakości win Beaujolais. Jest z nami Julien Sunier. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Thanks for being here.
Julien,
welcome.
Yeah. You came from Burgundy, but now we are here in Beaujolais. Why did you get up here in Beaujolais?
So I did like 10 years experience all over the world, and my last job as all the experience I was doing in the winemaking, I found a job in Beaujolais in 2003. So this year it's the 21st years, 21 years I'm here in Beaujolais. I arrived 21 years ago in Beaujolais for a job. Mm-hmm. So I worked 4 years and a half for a big negotiation company, and then after this nice experience in Beaujolais, I've decided to stay in this nice region and to start my own little domain, which I've started 17 years ago now, in 2008. Mm-hmm. So I welcome you today in my place, in my house, and I'm very pleased to have you and to make you discover all the nice Beaujolais wines we are making here, and the purity of the Gamay on granitic soils.
Yeah, but for the first beginning, you start to grow organically your vineyards. Why? Because this is a little bit demanding when we compare with traditional, conventional viticulture.
Yes, so it was a very important decision from the very first start to be organic, to do organic farming, because I am myself in contact in the vineyard every day, so I didn't want to pollute myself with chemicals, and I also wanted to respect the soils, and I want to let the soils clean for the future generation, and I want to see the soil alive, and I want to really to try to make to show as much as I can the terroir in the wine. So for me, a terroir needs to be made, farmed under organic to be really, to show itself the most perfectly. Mm-hmm. So that was the way to do for me. That was organic farming. I didn't see the job in another way.
Okay, great.
So we were only 1.2% doing organic farming at this start, because the Beaujolais vineyard is very hilly and difficult to mechanize. Mm-hmm. So I'm very proud to be part of those people doing organic farming today.
And organic, what does exactly means? How do you cultivate?
Organic is really about the farming, about cultivating the vineyard. So it means that we don't use any herbicide. Mm-hmm. We're gonna maintain the soil clean with tractors, by hand a lot, with horses, on steep land we still work with cables and all the machinery. So we try to have natural grass, lots of biodiversity, but not too much. If you have too much grass and biodiversity, then you have too much competition with the vineyard, and then the granitic soils are very poor, so you need to have life in the soil, but at the same time you need to have a nice production. So it's always a balance between between having soils alive, but also to maintain a good crop and good.
And does the Beaujolais climate support this kind of cultivation?
Yeah, it does if you play always in advance. If you work well, you need to be very accurate. You need a lot of different materials, but the granitic soil is very poor, so it doesn't accept much grass. Mm-hmm. So you need to do a compromise between having lots of biodiversity, but also sometimes you need to plow the soil and to maintain a good production. Mm-hmm. So it's difficult. It's a tough work, and also the climate change with the global warming. We have lots of big, strong storms with lots of mildew pressure. So In organic farming, we only have a few solutions to fight against mildew, so it can be very tough. Some years when it's very wet with lots of storms, we can lose quite a lot of crops. So this is part of the game. But last year was a very nice year. 2022 also. So
but
we are able to
Yeah.
produce really well under organic farming as well.
But always is not such a beautiful situation with the weather. You had some very bad seasons, 2016 and 17, and after that you had decided to buy some grapes from your neighbors, and then you produce one very nice wine with beautiful name, Wild Soul.
Wild Soul, yes.
Yeah.
So yeah, in 2016 we lost 70% of the crop because of two big hailstorms. So the ice coming from the sky which destroy all the crop, and we lost a lot. And me, I had to leave from my job, so I decided to buy grapes from friends doing also organic farming, and they weren't affected with the storm. So I started buying grapes to help me to produce some wine this year, and then I continue in 2017 because I lost again 50% of the crop with the hail. And then I decided to continue to buy grapes. So it's true that I developed this little cuvée, this very nice cuvée, Wild Soul. So Wild Soul is because I live in a wild place in the mountain, and I'm also a little wild. And I think every one of us should listen to their wildness and to their dreams. So this is all of that in this bottle of Wild Soul. This is I'm trying to show the natural winemaking we make, the organic farming we make, and also this is a very nice approach on showing the pure fruit of Gamay, pure Gamay fruits on granite.
Yeah.
So Gamay is a grape varietal we have in Beaujolais. We have only one grape varietal in Beaujolais, which is Gamay. So all the differences you will find in the wine will be from the soil, from the terroir, from the appellation. It will not be from different blending. We have only one grape, which is Gamay. Like in Burgundy, you have Pinot Noir. Here, this is Gamay.
Yeah. And do you think we can try the
Yes.
Wild Soul?
So we start with the Wild Soul. So it's a cuvée made half with my grapes, and the other half is made with the grapes I buy from my friends. Grapes are coming from high altitude terroir. So high altitude terroir is very nice to have high altitude terroir right now with the global warming. We have very hot summers. So to keep freshness in the wine, to keep low alcohol, we try to find harvest grapes in altitude to have good acidity also.
I think the low level of alcohol is really important in this time, because many of people are looking for such for such wines.
Yeah, so my style is really to look for purity. All the wine are made naturally with nothing inside except grapes and love and passion and all the knowledge I have since 28 years now. I'm trying to make wine. So the idea is to be organic farming, and then the grapes arrive at home. They are all vinified, full bunch maceration, carbonic maceration. They are all vinified wild yeast. We don't add any selected yeast. We vinified without sulfur. And then we do 9 months of maturing without sulfur as well. We mature the wine in big wooden casks, like foudre, and also in barrels, Burgundian barrels. So, and at the end, wines are not filtered, but they are racked with a moon. Yeah. They are blended one complete moon, 28 days. They are re-racked to really obtain something very nice, very clean, very pure, but very honest. Voilà.
Yeah. I think it's really beautiful wine. It's really fresh.
Mm. So I try to show generosity in the wine. It's quite generous, but at the same time, very easygoing, supple tannins. You feel this crunchiness, this purity from the granite, the brightness of the gamay. So it's really a wine you can have also a little cooler, a little chilled as a red. It's a nice summer red. It's a easy compromise. The Beaujolais for many times you can have it with friends, with no food. You can have it with a little aperitif. You can have it anytime. I really love Beaujolais. I'm fan of cool climate wines. I really like Jura wines. I like also Burgundian wines, but I'm fan of Beaujolais.
Yeah. But you have about 9 hectares in different crus of Beaujolais. Why do you have such different places? You want to show on the difference between particular crus?
Yes, so in Beaujolais, you don't have any notion of Grand Cru or First Cru. You have 10 cru, 10 different cru, which represent 10 villages. And me, I'm producing 3 of the villages, which are Regnie, Morgon, and Fleury. Those 3 villages are really next to each other, and you will find differences in the 3 wines. The differences you will have will not come from the winemaker because it's the same winemaker, it's me. Here it's going to be the same year. It will come. So the differences you will have will come from the altitude, the facing, the age of the vines, the terroir. The big name of all of that is the terroir. The rootstock. So it's very interesting to have like a full tasting because you have 4 different wines from the same year, the same man, but different places where it's grown.
So let's start the second one.
Yes. So we start with Beaujolais village. So Beaujolais village, it's a groupment of villages. Then we have a Regnie, which is one of the 10 cru, Regnie.
It's not a very big cru, I think.
No, it's a small cru, Regnie. It's one of the smallest. It's just below Morgon. It's not north. It's in the middle, just below Morgon. It's touching Morgon. It's between Morgon and Brouilly. And it's not so well known, Regnie. I'm a big fan of Regnie. Me, I have 4 hectares of Regnie on 9 hectares and a half I do. We farm, so 4 hectares, it's a lot. And I'm a big fan of Regnie. I'm pushing a lot Regnie to show the potential of this cru. This cru was aged also in big wooden casks and for half of it and the other half in barrels.
And more ambitious producers try to reduce using of barrels.
Yes.
Do you put all your wines in barrels? But other side, Gamay is wines with less tannins. So it's really difficult to take care about such aging process.
So it's thank you for this nice question. So I use barrels, but 10 to 15 years old barrels. 15.
Oh.
So quite old barrels. The idea to use wooden cast, big 3,000 liters cast, which we call foudre, or little barrels. The idea is really to do lees aging. To mature, to put the wines in the cellar for all winter on lees. The lees is the mother of the wine. It will feed the wine, it will protect the wine against oxidation. So the idea to use this kind of shape as a barrel is really to leave the wine with his mother and to feed the wine all winter. We don't use any new oak because the gamay is very bright, it's full of fruit, and we don't want to cover the fruit with too much oak. So your question is very interesting. We use barrels, but no new oak. So you still have a little effect of the wood, but very gentle.
I think in this wine we can feel more earth than the barrels. It's connected with the soil, I think.
Exactly, and also I try to do now 30-40% of the aging in big volumes, tank or wooden cask. I also have a few other tanks. I have an egg-shaped tank, 3,000 egg shaped tank, which is very interesting to avoid to put sulfite because it's very reductive. And also I have cement tanks to really catch the fruit and keep the fruit intact. Voilà. So the idea is to do about 30% of the volume in big volume aging and the rest of the volume in barrels. And then at the end, at springtime, when you want to bottle it, you blend all the barrels and the the tanks together to have a final produce which respect a lot the fruit.
Yeah. Do you manage obtain in Burgundy very old wooden wine press?
Yeah, so the barrels come from Burgundy, and also I use we are not many people to use vertical press. I have a few friends in Beaujolais, they still use vertical press. It's very interesting material. My press is from 1968. It's from 1968 years, so it's very old material. And I love this press because we do very long pressing, like we do 24 hours pressing,
really long.
very gentle. And then this way you don't extract any greenness. Very gentle pressing, vertical pressing. You have a lot less lees and big material. You have a lot less tannins. So we take the time we need to press. We are not in a hurry, we vinified. So it's a very physical material because you need to put the grapes inside the press by hand. And then after 12 hours pressing, you need to open the press and cut the cake by hand, to remove with a shovel the cake by hand. So it's a lot of physical activities. But this is why we stay fit.
Yeah.
This is from the old material, from the old press. So I have the idea maybe to buy a new press to help me during vinification, but every year I say I'm going to buy a pneumatic press, and every year I continue to use my old press because I love it.
Yeah, great. And this Morgon, it's a little bit...
So you pour me some Morgon, right?
Yeah,
Thank you.
Yeah.
So Morgon, it's
a bit warmer wine.
It's a bit more known than Regnie as an appellation because historically many people would bottle the Morgon.
It's a much bigger appellation.
It's a bit bigger appellation, maybe a bit more masculine. Mm-hmm. Some tannins, but not dry tannins, no big tannins, but quite nice body with some nice shoulders, and this can be really well appreciated with saucisson, with some food. What I can say with the wines here, you can have lots of different kind of food with it, but it doesn't accept really big spicy plates. Mm-hmm. If you put too much spice, too much pepper, hot, then it will cover the fruit. So we have nice reds, but not so strong, not so big. Yeah?
Okay, great.
Thank you.
And the last but not least, it's Fleury.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry.
So Fleury, you have to imagine for the people from your country who decide to travel in France, you have to imagine that we have a very old wine history, which is very much connected with the soil. So the history of Beaujolais is more than 1,000 years ago. They start to plant a vineyard here. And when you drive from Paris, from Champagne, all the way down to south of France, you have all the highway, you drive south from Paris south, you have lots of clay and limestone, so that's why you have the Champagne made with Pinot Noir, with Chardonnay, with Pinot Meunier. Now, after you drive south, you arrive in Burgundy, you have Chardonnay, Pinot Noir, because you are still on clay and limestone. And suddenly you drive down to Beaujolais. Just before Lyon, you arrive in Beaujolais. And suddenly you have a big geological chaos. And suddenly you don't have any more clay and limestone, you have granite. That's why you don't find any more Chardonnay and Pinot. And that's why the Gamay goes so well on granite. And that's why I speak about granite again, is because you have more or less granite different depending the villages. And Fleury is one of the most granitic cru with Chirouble, which is another cru. And so because it's so granitic, it will be very, lots of flowers, very feminine, very pure, very, very delicate cru. Very often you're gonna have some violet taste, some rosy taste, some very fresh aromas, very feminine style, very pure, very delicate. For me, Fleury is I feel very confident to vinify Fleury every year. It's a good wine to have. Tomorrow I think it's Saint Valentin. It's a good wine to have with your wife. The others as well, but Fleury is the one good to have with your partner.
Yeah, great. Julien, it was really pleasure to taste with you the wines and to listen about the region and your approach to this place and to the soil and to the bushes.
Thank you so much.
Happy for your
Thank
host.
you so much, and I know you are not from here. You drove a long way to be here, so thanks for visiting. Thanks for sharing together my passion for the winemaking and for the Gamay and for the Beaujolais. And I hope people who are going to discover the wines will love it. I hope so. Thank you for you. Thanks for being here. Thank you.
Dziękuję bardzo. Do zobaczenia tymczasem.